How many times have you said yes when your heart was screaming no? How many times have you ignored your own needs because you were afraid of disappointing someone else? Maybe you've spent years trying to keep everyone happy while slowly losing touch with yourself. In this video, we're going to uncover how constantly putting others first can drain your peace, confidence, and identity, and how learning to choose yourself can help you rebuild your life from within. There's a quiet kind of exhaustion that comes from constantly being there for everyone. You answer every call, you solve everyone's problems, you listen to everyone's worries, you adjust your plans, you forgive again, you stay quiet to avoid conflict, you say it's okay even when it isn't. And eventually, you look at your own life and realize something uncomfortable. You have been taking care of everyone except yourself. You may not even notice it happening. It begins with kindness. You want to help. You want people to feel loved. You don't want anyone to be disappointed. But slowly, helping becomes people-pleasing. You stop asking, what do I want? Instead, you ask, what will they think? Will they be upset? Will they leave? Will they stop liking me? And without realizing it, you begin living according to everyone else's expectations. But choosing yourself doesn't mean becoming selfish. It means remembering that your needs matter too. Today, let's explore how to stop losing yourself while trying to be everything for everyone. Imagine carrying a glass of water. Someone asks for some, you give them a little. Another person asks, you give them more. Another person needs help. You keep pouring, you keep giving. Eventually, the glass becomes empty. Then someone asks, why don't you have anything left? You might say, because everyone needed something from me. But here's the deeper question. Who was taking care of the person holding the glass? This is what happens when you constantly put everyone else first. You become so focused on meeting other people's needs that you forget you have needs too. You become the person everyone calls when they have a problem. The person who listens, the person who understands, the person who sacrifices, the person who says, don't worry about me. But sometimes you should worry about you, not from a place of selfishness, from a place of responsibility, because you cannot continuously give from an empty heart. And perhaps you've experienced this. You help someone, they feel better, but you feel drained. You cancel your plans, you make someone else happy, but inside you're frustrated. You stay silent to keep the peace, but inside resentment grows. You say yes because you don't want to disappoint someone. Then you spend the next 2 days wishing you had said no. This is where you need to pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't? That question can reveal a lot. There is a difference between generosity and self-abandonment. Generosity says, I have something to give and I freely choose to give it. Self-abandonment says, I don't want to do this, but I'm afraid you won't love me if I say no. One comes from abundance, the other comes from fear, and you deserve to recognize the difference. You don't have to prove that you're a good person by constantly exhausting yourself. You don't have to earn love by being endlessly available. You don't have to sacrifice your peace so someone else can remain comfortable. Sometimes choosing yourself means resting when everyone expects you to keep going. Sometimes it means pursuing your own dream, even when others don't understand it. Sometimes it means walking away from a relationship that repeatedly hurts you. Sometimes it means admitting, I can't do this anymore. And that sentence doesn't make you weak, it makes you honest. You're allowed to have limits. You're allowed to have dreams. You're allowed to have preferences. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to say, this doesn't work for me. And you are allowed to build a life that isn't designed entirely around keeping other people comfortable. Because your life is not a waiting room where everyone else gets served before you. You matter too. Your time matters. Your energy matters. Your emotional well-being matters. Your dreams matter. And the moment you start treating yourself like someone whose needs deserve consideration, something inside you begins to change. You stop begging for approval. You stop explaining every decision. You stop feeling responsible for everyone's emotions. You begin understanding that you can love people deeply without disappearing inside their expectations. And perhaps that's the first step toward choosing yourself. Not becoming less caring, but finally remembering that you are also someone worth caring for. For many people, the word no feels frightening. They worry that someone will be disappointed. They fear being called selfish. They imagine the other person becoming angry. So they say yes. Yes to another responsibility. Yes to another favor. Yes to another request. Yes to something they don't have the time, energy, or desire to do. And every unnecessary yes creates another burden. But here's something important. A respectful no is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of clarity. You don't have unlimited time. You don't have unlimited energy. And you cannot be everything to everyone. If you say yes to everything, eventually your yes becomes meaningless because you're giving it without intention. Learn to pause before answering. You don't have to respond immediately. Say, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Give yourself permission to consider whether something fits your priorities. Because sometimes the most honest answer is simply, I can't. No long explanation, no elaborate excuse, no guilt, just clarity. The people who genuinely respect you may not always like your boundaries, but they can learn to respect them. And those who only value you when you're useful may reveal something important when you finally say no. Your boundaries don't destroy healthy relationships. They help reveal which relationships were healthy in the first place. Choosing yourself requires more than positive thinking. Sometimes it requires distance. There may be people who repeatedly criticize you, people who manipulate you, people who only contact you when they need something, people who constantly bring chaos into your life. You cannot control their behavior, but you can control their access to you. A boundary might mean ending a conversation when disrespect begins. It might mean limiting contact. It might mean refusing to discuss certain personal matters. It might mean leaving an environment that continually damages your peace. And boundaries don't require anger. You can be firm without being cruel. You can walk away without creating a war. You can protect yourself without wishing harm upon anyone. Remember, peace is not something you find after everyone else behaves correctly. Sometimes peace comes when you stop expecting people to behave differently and start deciding what you will tolerate. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your time, attention, and emotional energy. Choosing yourself means becoming intentional about where you place those things. There is a beautiful difference between selfishness and self-respect. Selfishness says, only I matter. Self-respect says, I matter too. That's the mindset you need. You can care about your family and still care about yourself. You can love your friends and still have boundaries. You can support someone and still protect your own energy. You can be compassionate without becoming available to everyone. Choosing yourself doesn't mean closing your heart. It means opening your eyes. You begin noticing where your energy goes. You notice which relationships nourish you and which ones constantly drain you. You notice which habits strengthen you and which ones weaken you. You notice which dreams are truly yours and which ones were inherited from other people's expectations. And perhaps the most important question becomes, if I stopped worrying about everyone's opinions, what kind of life would I actually want to create? Sit with that question. Maybe you'd change careers, maybe you'd start a project, maybe you'd travel, maybe you'd spend more time with your family, maybe you'd finally take care of your health, maybe you'd leave something that has been hurting you for years. Maybe you'd simply slow down. Whatever the answer is, don't ignore it. You don't have to rebuild your entire life overnight. Start with one decision, one boundary, one honest conversation, one no. 1 hour for yourself. One promise to take better care of your mind. Small choices create a different life. And eventually, you may realize that choosing yourself was never about putting yourself above everyone else. It was about finally putting yourself back into your own life. Because you cannot spend your entire existence trying to become the person everyone else wants you to be. At some point, you have to become the person you respect. The person you can look at in the mirror and say, I didn't abandon myself anymore. And perhaps that is where real inner peace begins. Not when everyone approves of you, not when everyone understands you, not when everyone stays, but when you finally know that no matter who comes or goes, you will not look before you move on. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you chose yourself without feeling guilty? Maybe you've spent years trying to make everyone happy. You've been available for everyone, understanding toward everyone, and patient with everyone. But somewhere along the way, you forgot to ask what you needed. Today, remind yourself, you are allowed to say no. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to walk away from what hurts you. You are allowed to protect your peace. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you love others less. It means you finally understand that you deserve love, care, and respect from yourself too. So don't wait for everyone to approve of your choices. Don't wait for someone else to give you permission to live your life. Start small. Choose one boundary. Honor one need. Follow one dream. Give yourself one moment of peace, and remember this. You can love people deeply without losing yourself completely. Your life is yours to live. Choose yourself, not because others don't matter, but because you matter too.